Cool. Create a live broadcast. Go live.
Were we live in this?
Yeah, we should be live in this. You can usually pull up your phone and maybe see some comments as you go along.
Okay, I'll pull
Um,
this up here. Is it an MLO network? Is that the one it's in, or?
MLO Network. Yep. Should be streaming live in MLO Network. Believe it's usually better if you pull it up on your phone, and if you do it on your computer, you're going to get a little bit of an echo if you turn the volume on.
Oh, I'll keep the volume off there.
Yeah, but I mean you can pull it up on your computer. You just got to be careful with the. You know what? And before we get too far, I'm going to grab my extra cord here so my laptop doesn't die. All right, cool. So I think I got us going here. We are doing Success Series with my good friend from Milwaukee, DJ. Many of you know DJ. DJ is a big player, mover, and I have no doubts that he will be one of the top people in the industry for a long time. So I appreciate your time, buddy. I know you're always busy, but then again, you run your team fairly structured and organized fashion, so you always have time as well, right?
Yeah, try to. It's always try to implement systems and put people in the right spot so I don't have to do as much
Cool, man.
or do other things.
Cool. Well, the first thing I want to say is that with some of the folks that have done Success Series so far, we planned in advance and we said, what do we want to talk about? What questions do we want to talk about? With you, I said, oh, we'll figure it out on the spot because I know you like the pressure of the sale, and you like the pressure of being on stage and the limelight. And I know I could just tell you to talk, and you would be able to talk for an hour.
Yeah,
If you
that
wanted
wouldn't be
to.
a problem. I hope you don't do that, but I
I
could do
won't.
it.
I won't. I won't do that at all. But that reminds me of the traits. Pretty much all these top performers that we know all over the country. Most of them have this kind of skills where they can pick a topic and they can communicate clearly and effectively to their audience. So when I was preparing for this call, I thought about it a little bit this morning. I wrote a couple things down and I ended up throwing it away. One thing I wanted to ask you about right away was, I watched you over the last few years grow, build, all that kind of stuff. At one point, you and I tried to partner on some things. We tried to work together. But we originally met through coaching programs. We kept
Yep.
gravitating towards the sort of systems and the same coaches and all that kind of stuff. Now, you have spent a ton of time trying out pretty much everything, not just in the mortgage industry, but you've gone outside of the mortgage industry to find business coaches and social media coaches, and you've read books kind of from all over the place and spent a lot of time taking business classes.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how important gaining education is, and not just in the past, but continuously on a day-to-day basis is in individual success and in your success? Because I'm just impressed at how you constantly find the best teachers and educators and the best information and constantly grow.
Yeah, that's one of the as time has gone and as you get older. I mean, not like I'm that old. I'm 33 years old, but you find that you have natural limitations, and is where what only gets you so far. And that's with every area of life. And when it first started off in the business world, I kept hitting a ceiling where I couldn't break through a certain amount of closings. I kept hitting like basically 100 every year. I kept a hit on, which is a good number. But then I knew I had to look to change that and to change something so I could finally get through that and start growing. And that's where I looked into online marketing, Facebook ads, and that kind of stuff, which really helped. And then it came to be as, okay, now I'm just getting so crazy busy and I'm looking to become a business builder. And I started searching out a person that could help me in that area where it take me to another level. And then I started to realizing, like when this was a couple years ago, I had a doctor's visit, and not a heavy guy or any sort of thing like that. And my doctor, he told me, I did a blood test. Then I get a call like a few days later from the nurse, and the nurse saying, hey, your test came back, and the doctor wants to meet with you in person. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of freaky. Can you tell me what's going on? He goes, no, I can't do that. You have to come in. And so the doctor, he was saying, it's okay, you don't have cancer or anything like that. But what I can tell you is when you make some changes, is that you're going to have a heart attack, over a 50% chance of having a heart attack when you're in your 40s. And it's because of my diet, and I worked out, and I didn't know anything about nutrition and all that. So I kind of ignored it for a while, but then I started realizing, hey, I need to start squeezing as much as possible out of myself that I can, in order to be the highest level producer, not just for business, but for my family and just life. And so then I started looking out into some health and nutrition and learning more about that, so I can I can work at a higher level for longer periods, or just the effort that I put in is my best. And then I started also realizing, as okay, there's another area in my life that is, I just have some mental roadblocks. One of the biggest problems I think almost every person has, I don't think I know, is they have some sort of mental roadblocks where they don't even know, and it could be coming from early on in their childhood and such, and some of it sounds hocus pocus, but I got introduced to a guy who is I don't know what you would call him, and but I would call, maybe I don't want to call him a mindset coach or anything like that, but just some incredible techniques that have really helped remove obstacles and barriers that used to trip me up. That now it's just not there. It's for instance, like this particular person and his method and such, help people quit smoking overnight, help people that could never lose weight all of a sudden lose weight, and the issues they had just all of a sudden gone. And me was some issues of letting go, or just some past wounds kind of stuff. And I know it sounds phooey, but some people that I trust and their opinion, I mean, talking about multimillionaires and big business people that own multiple businesses and such, swore by it and did it. And so now for me, it's really I look for just to take this frail body and frail mind and look to optimize it on anything. And I don't know it all by any means, but I know that I can go and find those people that do know more than I do, and then use that for my life, my business, which in turn that I have used, and take that information and knowledge, and then I give it to others, and to the realtor partners that I work with, and just from a whole life aspect, not just simply business.
Well, that's something we talked a lot about just in chats here, and I know that you've talked about it a lot in your Facebook group, Mortgage Pub, which is killer, by the way. We love that.
Thank you.
Is building partnerships with your team and your staff and your partners and local businesses and helping them grow.
Yeah.
And you've always had that giver's gain, that abundance mentality. But I think you've done what a lot of folks didn't do, which was you really went out of your way to understand how to solve your partner's problems, and not just kind of go into a B&I meeting and say, hey, give me some some deals, and maybe I'll find you a deal. You said, well, what do these people really need in their business? And can you talk a little bit about that? Because I've watched a lot of things that you've done, and I couldn't even begin to understand all the methods. I mean, you wrote a book about it, but just talk about that a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I get realtors all the time that will call me up or reach out to me, text me, hey DJ, can we talk? And then it's whatever that it is. It's not just simply, hey, I want to do this marketing thing to grow business. That's great, that happens too. But it's, hey DJ, I'm really thinking about starting my own brokerage. Hey DJ, I'm really thinking about leaving where I'm leaving. Hey DJ, I'm having this issue with my team, and I'm looking to grow my team, and I just want to see if I could talk with you and talk through it. And that's not just something, in my opinion, it's not just something that people do. I believe it's a result of me when I meet with them, is always asking lots of questions to get a better understanding of their business, and just showing that I legitimately care about their business, what it's growing, and then making them know that I am there as a resource for them. And if it's called about teams, if they don't have a team, I'm going to drop that hint for them is, hey, something you need to consider at some point is team building. And I know it's a scary thing, but let me tell you, it's something that I've done a lot of, and I'm more than happy to talk with you about it. And showing that you care, people are going to reach out to you as a result of it. And I always remind them too, is when I talk with them, not on every single call, is if there's everything you need from me, any questions, anything I can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I might not know the answers, but I can get you it, or I can connect you with the people that do know the answers.
I like it. And like you just pointed out, you say, I've got a good network of people that have the answers, but you also spend as much time studying mortgage as you do studying real estate and business in general. So you're not just coming to them as the loan officer, you're coming to them as the business owner, as a team leader, as somebody that has those kind of skills, and you're paying attention to what other real estate agents are doing, or what other business owners are doing, or what other social media gurus are doing, and that's the information that you're bringing back to them. It's not information that you've gathered by talking with your friends in a Facebook mortgage group. It's information that you got from reading all the real estate books, and from finding the best people in America, and from studying the models, and then figuring out, okay, well, I got this new agent, this is where they're at, this is where they need to go, here's all the steps. And I love it, man. I love it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Thank you.
So how big is your team right now?
Yeah, right now I have I don't know what you call him. I call him a sales assistant type of thing. I'm trying to groom him. He's working to get his license, and I'm going to kind of turn him into an outside sales rep kind of thing. We have a very unique model with the company I'm at now, and it's very supportive of growth and all of that. And so then I have two processors.
You can say the name. People look you up. We all know. It's cool.
Oh, I don't care. I'm with Guaranteed Rate. So, and I have two processors. It's a corporate model of how it works. And so I'm getting, just getting my feel. It only came over here in October, and it's been awesome. So a processor that takes them from the application to underwriting, and then another processor takes it from approval to closing. In the process of looking for kind of a LOA, loan officer assistant, that's kind of a second first processor to take care of all of the Encompass stuff and all of that, and also looking. I don't want to call it a junior loan officer. I don't really want that, but somebody that is a loan officer or was a loan officer, just can't get their own business or doesn't want to, and then be able to handle the scenarios and such. So those are the two that I'm currently actively looking for.
I know we talked with Alex a little bit on the previous call, and that's kind of how he was trying to build his team as well. And when he got that person that he could trust with the Encompass and the behind the scenes, his life did get a lot easier. So that's definitely something I've seen a lot of LOs all over America. I was talking to Clayton about this, our good friend Clayton, just a few months ago too. In fact, he attributed a lot of his recent success in the last 2 years to finding the best person for that job. Yeah, and that's definitely a hard person to find.
Yeah, that's some really work, and I'm trying to get ASAP because I just landed a large builder account. Builders aren't a huge thing in Wisconsin. Most of them are they don't self-finance, but this one is one of the largest self-financed builders in Wisconsin. Just landed that account, so that one alone is I just need to get somebody just to handle those deals.
Cool, man.
That's a good problem to have, though, right?
It is for sure. Yeah. So you've helped a lot of loan officers around you. You've mentored a lot of folks. One of the things that I mentioned I was going to bring up on this call is we do have a lot of new loan officers in this group and the group that you run, and they're always just trying to figure out what to do next. If you're an LO that was a year or two in the business and maybe you just recently graduated college and you had a business degree and did a kick-ass job kind of like you did at Western Michigan, there are a lot of people out there with hustle, and they buy training, they maybe do some of the courses that we've done in the past, but they stumble a little bit on what do I do next with marketing, with selling, with how do I schedule my day. What kind of advice would you give for folks that are in that position?
In a position of
they're newer. The market's shifted a little bit. They got to hustle. They got to pick up more purchases, and they just want to spend their time wisely, but they want to build as quickly as they can.
Yeah, part of it is that you can, it's going to sound like a contradiction a little bit, but is that people can tend to spend too much time worrying about trying to prioritize and never get to implementation and be too rigid. My first thing is just do, and you'll be able to organize as you're doing it and figuring out as things go. But if you're always doing, you're going to have things that are going to start to happen. Now, what you should be doing is, again, meeting with realtors and then have an honest conversation with them and really care about their business and being an asset to their business. An asset's not simply just buying Zillow. That's not an asset. That really is just a vendor. And not saying that you shouldn't buy Zillow leads and all that. If there's a return on it, it's a mutually beneficial relationship on there. But you need to just find out what you can do to make their life easier. And there's two things realtors care about. And it was funny because I met with a top person with the Keller Williams franchise in the area yesterday. And I've been saying it's time and money, saving time and making more money and figuring out and making them aware of it is because if you don't future pace them and say, I care about your time and I care about your money and I want to help you with both of them, they're not going to realize that's what you're doing. And to ask them is, what can I do to save you time? You can do X, Y, Z. So you're saying if I can do X, Y, and Z, it'd save you time, be worth working together. Absolutely. Okay, great. This is my plan to do X, Y, and Z for you to ensure that you don't have to worry about your deals. You don't have to think about it. You have to get them to say what they want. You fulfill it and confirm that solves their desire. But it ultimately comes down for most agents, I'd say 95% or higher, is a combination of time and or money.
I like it. So it's interesting because I saw a couple of threads in our group last night, and folks were talking about, what do I send as a cold text or just as a follow-up text to hook the realtor in to get him to meet with me. And my suggestion was I've got realtors that work with me generally are going to close more transactions. They're going to make more money. But I like how you also mentioned the time is important to them. You're it's going to be more efficient. You're going to save more time. And you're not necessarily just focusing on selling your service up front.
Yep.
You're going to hopefully get that opportunity to work with them, and then they will see how good your service is, and then of course you can remind them about how good your service is as you come back to them.
Right.
So you're not front loading that call with, oh, I'm great at service and I got great rates.
No, you should never position your features first. You should never even really talk about your features. You should turn them always into benefits, but you don't even come out with your benefits of working with you until you have determined from them their desires and their needs, and then you can then match their desire with your benefit, and you can then you can make that connection for it. But because if you don't do that, people, I don't care how smart people are, a majority of them won't make that connection. So you have to make it for them and then remind them of that all the time.
I love it. I've been saying this a lot more lately than I ever did. Great salespeople ask great questions. And,
Yep.
It seems like you've got that down pat. I love it. I also wanted to ask you a little bit, and I know you and I did a call on this, a recorded call that I could probably post below here later. You have done a lot of presenting, a lot of classes. It seems like you always got something coming up on your calendar. And a couple questions. One would be, do you use those upcoming classes as part of your value proposition when you're calling and talking to agents? We've always got something that you can offer them, a place where you can get to meet them. And then two would be, how do you turn those classes into loan applications? I mean, is it the content? Is it the follow-up? Is it filling the room? What is it that really turns just showing up in a room into business in the future?
Yeah, it depends the event. Like next week, us or me and my company and a couple other loan officers, we're throwing just a big party next Thursday, live band, all free, open bar, the whole shebang, and our company's really good with that. But like for that kind of thing, it's really is, hey, I'm cool, I'm fun, kind of like on Facebook, that people to see that you're just a normal person, that they can get along with you, and then use that in order to, hey, it was great seeing you, and then that makes the call the next day or the next 2 days, or even there you schedule the meeting, the appointment to get together. So that's more of I won't say a slower play, but that's going to be, there's less call to action on just a social event. Versus if I do an event where I'll, let's say on VA loans or something, or on marketing or whatever it is, my call to action generally is at the end of it, they fill out a survey. I get some more information from them. I know everybody that's there. They already are the producers I'm looking for, but I turn that into a coffee meeting. That's what I do. And then I go over it for their individual business and talk about it. Hey, that was great. You like what we're doing, and that way I can have the one-on-one to get more what's their particular needs. And they're all pretty much the same. And then that turns into the business. So it's kind of a two-step approach. Get into event. That's the hook, really, in order to get to meet with them one-on-one, or to bring additional value to people that I've already met with. And so they can learn additional things.
And I think I saw you post this, and I don't remember exactly where. It was probably in the Mortgage Pub, but you were talking about how you fill your events and what your value proposition is in your events. And it's not come learn about renovation loans or come learn about VA loans or come learn how to be better at your taxes. It goes back to what you were just talking about, right? It's how can you make more money, and
Yep.
how can you save your time? So what would be some examples of how you send out your invites or what you call your classes and how you basically position them to fill them up?
Yeah, so there always is the position of a benefit to the agent, and whatever I'm teaching or going to be talking on, how it will benefit them. Whether it's, close more loans with how to close more loans with the VA loan. I mean, I probably would tweak it more than that on there, and make 15 extra $1,000 per year like clockwork using the VA loan or something like that. And then everything is positioned about how I'm going to make them more money with it. And hey, if they want to make this more money, they need to have this particular education. Or hey, like the event I did in November, all I talked about for the most part was our company and the things that we offered, our technology and such that will make their life easier. But I didn't say, hey, come look at our digital mortgage app. That's not going to get anybody there. But hey, I want to show you how you're going to get more referrals just by working with me and not doing anything else other than just working with me. And I showed them how using our technology and such will make the process so much better for their client that they're going to get more referrals as a result of it. Which I first let off. Anybody have a deal that went sideways? Yeah. Okay. Anyone ever get you get referrals from those deals that go sideways even if they close? No. Why not? Because they're pissed off the process went bad. Yeah. So if I can show you, so would you say if the process goes well, you have a much higher chance of getting a referral from that client? Yes. Okay. Let me show you how that we're going to make that happen for you and your clients. Yeah. But so the benefit was, getting more referrals. Of course, I was talking all about us, but it's the way you're positioning it on it of making it about them. And when you do that, it also shows that you care.
I like it. I mean, I see a lot of loan officers posting about their technology and their programs and stuff like that. And in some cases, I ask them to role play. We did that a little bit at our last two events that we did with Military Mortgage Boot Camp. We did the same thing, and we have folks who perhaps at one point in their career worked in call centers and had some really good training, but we in many cases get out of the habit of thinking from our customer's perspective of, like you said, asking questions and about focusing on how we're going to help them save time or make money. So It's good stuff, man.
Thank you.
So what's next for DJ? What do you see yourself doing this year? Is it status quo, or you got big plans, or?
No, I definitely got big plans. One of the things that I want to go after this year are just larger accounts. Whether it's large real estate teams like this builder account that I got some things up my sleeves there. I have my I don't know what you want to call us, our mortgage platform the program we have that's really growing, and we got some cool things up our sleeves with there that we're about to launch. But really is to grow and be more of the business owner in my business, and get more people into position that can handle the initial, I wouldn't say initial apps because I don't really ever take an online app any longer. My team does that, but to handle the Encompass, that kind of stuff. So I can really just focus on doing events, meeting with realtors, make sure the phone is ringing, and then the team the team's there. So mostly by doing that, I'm going to focus on larger accounts so I don't spread myself too thin.
Cool, man. I know this is not really a spin-off question, but it is kind of related. I know some people have asked me over the years, what am I spending on Facebook ads? What am I doing for ads? I know you've done a lot of that in the last couple of years. And that's a good question. How much of your business is related to what you're spending on Facebook ads versus referrals from agents?
Well, most of my business is still referrals from realtors. And I've transitioned away from, I wouldn't say completely because I'm going to go back to it more. It's just that whenever I start to do something new, I have to pull myself away so I can start testing that, and then I put systems in place to handle what I was previously doing. But like just for instance, when I started doing Facebook ads and helping my realtors with that, I went from 100 deals to 1 year to 140 the next year. And that was largely because of the Facebook types of ads. But still, most of it was through realtor referrals, whether it came directly from the ads theirs or the referrals I got from theirs. I should have, but I didn't really separate those on there. So mortgage ads, I'm cranking those back up again this year. Been working with some new things, but I've spent a lot of money on Facebook ads.
Well, what you
Yep.
you know what you said reflects what TJ and I say a lot, and it's we're spending our money on Facebook ads, but we're trying to do it in a way where we're leveraging those leads and we're working with our partners to help them with
Yep.
their business. So yeah, maybe you spend a lot of money on ads, and everyone said, DJ, what was your ROI? How many of those did you convert? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, I started 10 new relationships because of those. And I guess when I look back, maybe I only converted 7 or 8 of those. But
Hmm.
now I've got 20 new realtors that work with me.
Right.
And they
Yep.
converted some deals that I wasn't the lender on. And I mean, how do you start calculating the ROI when you do all that stuff?
Yeah, it's difficult on that from the realtors. Now it's easier when you have the mortgage side and when you're just doing mortgage ads. The problem with mortgage ads, yeah, they're great and I love them and I make a lot of money on them. Is it's harder to scale because you have a lot more of the effort you have to do on your end with it. But they're great to do still. So I'm a proponent of both.
Yeah, I hear you. Occasionally we bash mortgage ads a little bit, but secretly in the background we do run some of our own.
But most people don't run them very well, or they're
That's
poorly
why we
done,
don't talk about them
or they're
much.
deceptive. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's why we don't talk about them a whole lot because TJ and I both know that a lot of the LOs that try them spend a lot of money and make mistakes. And like you said, either their ads are bad or they're deceptive, they're not compliant, or they're just not getting the results. And we know that you've kind of found the same thing that perhaps selling the home, those are a little easier leads to get
Hmm.
in many cases. So
Yeah, very easy.
cool. Cool. Well, what else you got? If not, we'll let everybody get back to their day, man.
You tell me, man. What else do you want?
Well, heck, we could go on for hours. I mean, you and I keep talking about. I don't want to tease anybody here, but maybe at some point in this world there'll be an event where Fish and TJ work together to set up an event. I don't know.
That'd be
We'll
fun.
talk more
Yeah.
about that. But I haven't been able to really get you to do too many of the events. The last time we did an event was that boot camp event. You did a great presentation
Thank
on
you.
ads and ad copy. And I've just been really impressed at how you keep trying to find what works best in America. And at the end of the day, what I've learned most from DJ over the last couple of years is I actually had some pretty good qualities as a loan officer and a business owner, but I just didn't always remember. One thing that I watched you do a couple of years ago, this is just completely me complimenting you, when I first sat down with you and I was, worked with you for a short period of time, is, I sat down with you for a couple of days and watched you work, and you were pretty much the first guy there, but you plugged in immediately. You had a schedule, you had everything ready to go. Of course, there were interruptions, agents calling, presentations, but your whole entire day was dedicated to work. It
Yep.
was not chit-chatting, being social with the guy in the office next to you talking about football. It was like, okay, I'm here to work. I'm going to bust my butt. I've got all these things that need to happen. I got to call realtors. I got to do this. And all your systems were not perfect. It wasn't like your automation or your email series were set up so that it was just magic and money flowed into your pocket. Some of it was better than others, but you had specific things you had to do every day. You had a calendar. You had a book laid out with all your current clients. So, okay, it's Tuesday. I got to go through my database and talk to everybody that's pre-approved. This is the time of the week to do it. It's in my calendar. Here's my book. Bam, do it. Okay, Fish, get out of my office. I got to do this for the next 45 minutes.
Right.
And I've seen high performers all over America, people I've worked with here and people in other states. They're all the same. They all do similar things. I had done that for most of my career. I got out of the habit of doing it for a few years because I started to think I was better than everybody else. And spending time working with you, that reminded me how important it is to always, what I like to say the word next. To me, that's
Yeah.
one of the most important words in the mortgage business, the word next. Okay, so what's next? I've accomplished this. I got that loan. I moved into my teen. I don't go celebrate and have 6 beers now and don't work for the rest of the day like some LOs
Right.
and then wonder why my production went down. It's like, okay, maybe I did a little better this month, but I shouldn't. The reason I have these ups and downs is that I don't go to the next task.
Right.
So I was always impressed at how you constantly focused on maximizing that time in your day. But then I believe at the end of the day, you just accepted that whatever you did that day was good enough, and you still went home and enjoyed time with the wife and the family.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
You very rarely work more than 8 to 5 or 8 to 6 unless you got an event, right?
Right. Exactly. And just the occasional last minute or call later in the day. Occasionally, I don't do that too often.
Right.
Yep.
Cool, dude. Cool, dude. So, you guys probably said, hey, we're watching DJ. He's going to teach us a bunch of really fancy tricks. And we spent most of this time talking about basics, I think.
Yep. It's always about the basics.
But,
Absolutely.
but yeah, the basics of building a good network, being consistent with what you do, delivering on time, all that stuff is key and critical. So I guess last thing, we'll let everybody get back to their day. Would be if you could give one piece of advice to the LO. And we talked about the new LO, but let's talk about the LO that's kind of close to where you're at, or that's sitting at that 90 to 100 units or 80 units or whatever, and they want to try to double, but they're having a hard time hiring or whatever the heck it is. What did they need to focus on first? Should they be focusing on hiring? Should they focus on coaching? Should they be focusing on a CRM? I mean, is it all of the above? What is their roadmap? There's a lot of people in that boat. I mean, they hit us up and they're at 10 million, 12 million, 15 million, and they just don't know what to do next.
Yeah, I'd hire somebody part-time and, well, first figure out all the different tasks that you're doing and what are the tasks that you can delegate to somebody that is not a high-level type of task, and hire somebody for those tasks, whatever they might be. And everyone talks about chasing conditions, but maybe it's something different. Maybe you realize that you're spending a lot of time looking up realtor contact information. Have somebody else do is free up your time. And whether you actually use that time to do more work, or if it's that time just to give you more mental clarity and some refreshing, you're going to be more productive the rest of the hours that you do work. And that's what I would do, is you have to open that bottleneck, and so more can go through. And it's not expensive to do. I hire somebody part-time to take off 20 hours a week, even if it's 15 hours a week. That's 15 hours a week that you can refresh or add more work, or a combination of that. And then you focus more on the money-making activities, meeting with realtors, and meeting with realtors.
Love it, dude. Somebody came to me about a week ago. I think it was a referral from Brian Stevens, and he was talking to me about some of the things that we do, and it was in that exact position. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm closing 6 or 7 deals a month, and it's going pretty good, but I got to find that that full time, like you were just talking about, the LP2, what the core calls them, or I got to get this person, and my business isn't going to grow until I get that person." And I think that, I've watched you do that with the temp staff. You guys did that a lot at your previous company. And I've watched some of my good friends in Metro Detroit, Tim Pasquarello, did the same thing. You can't find that person that costs you $50,000, $60,000 and you're not sure if you're ready to hire them or whatever the reason. You don't necessarily have to make that large investment today. You can bring somebody in for 12, 13, 15 an hour, whatever, and still pull tasks off your plate. It might take you one day to train them.
Right.
But so many people are completely afraid to hire that they find themselves doing like, oh, I got to mail shirts today because I have a side business. Like Fisher's going crazy because he's got to mail shirts. Well, I hired somebody locally to do that for me.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to spend your time, like you said, filling out applications and doing checklists and stuffing mail and stuff like that, because they're just not high payoff activities.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I like it, man.
Yep.
I like it.
Cool.
Cool, Bob. Well, appreciate your time. We'll try to get you this in the recorded format. If you guys are anywhere close to Milwaukee, hit up DJ, stop by, visit his office, say hey. I'm going to encourage you guys to do some meetups, no matter how you structure them. Like, network, be social with the guys in town.
Yep, sounds good.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to network with each other soon, man.
Yeah, somewhere warmer.
Yeah, I know. We got to go to Miami.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Peace out, brother. We'll talk soon.
All right. Later.
Later.